Hello everyone, it's Ashwin Rao, and today I'm coming at you with the unboxing of a brand that is new to me. This is a brand that established themselves out of Trinidad and Tobago, run by a really good friend of mine in the shoe business, Kenwin Small, one of the true gentlemen and one of the true entrepreneurs in today's shoe industry. So Kenwin has recently partnered with maker out of Indonesia. He rightfully identified the Indonesian bootmaking scene as a place where he could form partnerships and collaborate to come up with a heritage boot line that featured hand welting, hand lasting, hand stitched outsoles and largely handmade production. And this is the outcome. And he was kind enough to send me this pair to review. So Crew Nonpareil, super excited to feature this brand. So we're gonna do a little unboxing. This is the boot box, very rugged, robust, heavy stock boxing that really protected the boots as they arrived to me from India. You can see the Crew Nonpareil logo. I will fully admit, I actually peeked at this pair of boots. This pair has remained untouched. So pay attention more to this boot if you want to look at the quality of packaging. And the packaging is plenty sufficient to protect this really beautiful, beautiful boot. And I wanted to take you through some of the features that I'm seeing here. If you've ever followed my channel, you will see that I am a huge fan of the Indonesian makers. I've supported a number of them: Onderhood, Renav Goods, Monroe Heritage, Midas Bootmaker, Tahura Boot Company, amongst the few that I am really enthusiastic. Kenwin told me that this is a maker that prefers to remain anonymous, but has worked with some of the other brands in the past. And you can see the incredible quality we're talking about here. This is honestly up at the top of the level of production quality that I've seen out of the Indonesian bootmaking scene. It looks to me like the typical properties of a Shinki Hikaku oiled natural horsebutt leather, which has this characteristic grain. Oiled horsebutt leather is considered just one step down from shell cordovan. It tends to roll rather than crease. It's a really thick stock leather, and this particular model will patina really, really well. You can see this boot has a really unique back heel counter. This is reminiscent of a few Indonesian brands that I actually haven't had experience with, but I'm really liking the profile of this shoe and what I'm seeing here. You see how the curve here and here almost echo each other like waves. And similar with this little accent here does kind of echo and sits in an equal line with the front of the facing right here. This has a non-brogued cap toe, and you can see that that cap toe is formed from a separate piece of leather. And look at how clean this stitch work is. I mean, this is honestly amongst the cleanest stitching I've seen done even by machine with a high stitch density amongst any of the Indonesian bootmakers. Another thing that's interesting is you don't see the track wheels from the stitch machine right here. The only place where I think I see that, and I barely see it, is up at the top here. You can see this track right across the top here, but that's it. Stitching is incredibly clean across the facing. You can see this double row of stitching along the edge of this side paneling in the quarters here. Really, really tightly done, very cleanly done, and almost done with this diagonal stitch placement, which I've seen brands like Onderhood really do. I also want to take you through the outsole stitching here because that is really something else. The fibers of the stitch are almost wrapped in a way that's very similar to what I've seen from Onderhood. You can see this slightly diagonal pitch to the stitch density, and in my follow-up video I will bring one of my pairs of Onderhood stitches on here. But wow, look at how clean that stitching is. This is Veltuen 270-degree construction. You can see that the double row of stitches goes to about 180 degrees. And you then have a single row of stitches that goes all the way to the heel block. has a gently pitched heel. It doesn't have the traditional Cuban style heel that's become so synonymous with Indonesian boot making. I actually prefer the pitched heel. I think it gives a nice, clean, sharp profile, makes it a little less ornamental. You can see this is a Dr. Sol Super Grip half sole with some nice nailing done along the base of this front rubber compartment here. The Dr. Sol soles are very, very high quality, and you can see obviously at the waist where there's a leather spacer between the front and the back, you can see the Crew Nonpareil branding right here. A little detail that many don't pay attention to is how clean the stitching is done along the bottom of the shoe, and you can see this is very, very clean work across the bottom. So just a lot of care done and taken. You can see that the grained leather forms more of the shaft of the shoe, and then the cap toe is actually a little bit more plain without the grain, and I really like that. It features the grain here at a place where you would normally want some more grain. The joint between the cap toe and the Velcro stitching, this is a challenging area to execute. I've seen others, including Benzian, do a less than an ideal job there, and this is done exceptionally well. This has a rounded toe, slightly asymmetric shaped last, very characteristic of something you should see on a service boot. You can see here we have a total of 5 eyelets and 3 speed hooks, all kind of traditional antiqued brass eyelets and speed hooks. You can see the Crew Nonpareil brand again on the tongue of the shoe. Here's shoe number 2, which has the Crew Nonpareil brand on a tag here. The grain on the shaft here, and a little bit more pronounced grain on this other side, very similar to the other side here. A little bit more grain on this particular vamp compared to the other shoe, but really well within board. Again, this clean stitch work done, and the really, really great outsole stitching done again here. Very impressive on the outsole stitching. This is honestly a brand that if I didn't know, I would put this fit and finish at the level of quality of, say, Onderhood. It's that good. And if it were not for the fact that this is Kenwin's boot, I would actually want to own this makeup because I really love natural colored leathers. I find that they work really well in terms of developing a journey with your boot. And I just like all the design choices. I mean, I like the curves that I'm seeing here, how the shoe looks in profile, what the last looks like, how the branding works out, where the grain placement is, how clean the stitch is, how clean the cutting of the leather and the lasting process is, where you see no problems there. The pitched heel, the use of the Dr. Sol, the natural edge dressing that complements the upper well in terms of color. Clearly, whoever this maker is has taken the time to do an incredible job in all aspects of this shoe. I just noticed that the upper part of the outsole here is actually painted as well to give more contrast to the stitching. Sorry, I forgot to mention that, but that's another nice feature that gives it a little contrast. That's not something I've seen done before. I'll look forward to giving you more of a tour of these boots in a future video once I've given them a try. Kenwin did say I could try them on. This is his personal pair. But Crew Nonpareil, the service boot model from them, an Indonesian boot maker, done at an exceptionally high level of fit and finish. This is one of the most surprising experiences I've had because I wasn't sure what to expect. And this is really something made in Indonesia for a wide-ranging market, based out of Trinidad and Tobago. Crew Nonpareil, my friends, their Indonesian service boot. Give these guys a serious look. I believe Kenwin is planning on pricing these at $625 shipped, which for the quality the craftsmanship and the execution that I'm seeing here is a steal. This is right there, my friends, with some of the best. And other than this being a new venture, I would honestly think this is like a great time to jump in before the prices start to go up, because this maker is going to be recognized pretty rapidly for their quality and construction. This is Onderhood level goodness. Just got to try it on and make sure the fit is good, but everything else is top notch. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you soon.